Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So for this video right here, I'm going to talk about all these scandals plaguing this Trump administration. I mean, we all know about the big and obvious scandal of this Russia investigation. The Trump administration is being investigated for colluding with the Russians. And I've done many videos about that. That investigation continues. You have some Trump administration officials or former officials who have worked out deals with the prosecution, and they have pled guilty to offenses. So that investigation is going on. That scandal is going on. And then you have this scandal with this guy, Rob Porter, who was a Trump aide, a high-profile aide to the Trump administration. This man has been accused of physically abusing his former wives. One of his ex-wives put out a photograph of her face with a black eye, and she alleges that this man, Rob Porter, committed that act. One of these women alleges that he yanked her out of the shower and started beating her and abusing her. So this man has a history of domestic violence. And despite that history, you had the Trump administration go forward and hire this guy. And there is no doubt in my mind that they were aware of this man's abuse and they turned a blind eye to it. It only became an issue when that photograph became available, because we know that the Trump administration doesn't give a damn about women. I mean, let's just be blunt. You have a man in that White House who is accused of abusing women himself. So I'm not surprised about his attitude towards this whole issue. This man went on to talk about how, he seemed to be more sympathetic, more concerned about this guy, Rob Porter, than he is about the women that he allegedly abused. And it's not a surprise. So this man was talking about how just a mere allegation can destroy people's lives and this and that. And I think that the fact that he would issue such a statement, given these very serious allegations that have been levied against this guy, Rob Porter, just shows you how he doesn't have any sympathy or empathy for women, period. And it's funny that he would make that kind of statement about how a mere allegation can destroy people's lives. He didn't have that same kind of approach when it came to the Central Park people who were accused of raping a white woman. This man put out a full-page ad calling for those people to be subjected to the death penalty. Even though they were later exonerated, this man has still not apologized to those young African-American men who were wrongfully accused of that crime. But he hasn't apologized. But yet he wants to preach about how a mere allegation can destroy lives. And this is something that director Ava Duvernay pointed out on Twitter. She did a tweet, and I'll post it, a link to it, or I'll use it as the thumbnail for this video. But she pointed out this contradiction. So here you have a Trump administration that covered up this guy's despicable history of domestic violence and went forward to hire this man and put him in a prestigious position. And they were even considering this guy, from what I've heard, for a deputy chief of staff position. And you had this guy, John Kelly, this general. It was up to him to help screen out people like this with a bad background. But he failed miserably in doing that job. And now the Trump administration wants to pretend like they didn't know what was going on. It's a disgrace. This Trump administration has proven time and time again that they don't care about women. But yet you will have these women, white women in particular, continue to vote for this guy, continue to support this guy. And that tells me that these people are more concerned with other matters than they are concerned about issues that directly affect them. And it's a shame. So that's one thing. And again, it's not a surprise. I mean, Trump himself, he's been accused of sexually assaulting women. He's been accused of sexual misconduct and all kinds of things. So I'm not surprised by his callous disregard of the interests and concerns of women. We all should have known that. This is a man, after all, if we will recall, who boasted about sexually assaulting women. And now everybody wants to act surprised, like they had no idea that this man had no respect for women. And, you know, speaking of women, man, this guy, his administration actually expects us to believe that his attorney just paid $130,000 to Stormy Daniels out of his own pocket just for the sake of it. They expect us to believe that. You know, here you have this woman, Stormy Daniels, who is a porn star. And she allegedly had a sexual relationship with Donald Trump shortly after his wife had her second, had her child. His second wife had her child. Like shortly after that, Trump was involved in this affair with a damn porn star, man. And apparently this lawyer gave this porn star $130,000 as hush money so she would not talk about this affair that she had with Donald Trump. And this money was paid out around the time of Election Day, shortly before that, to prevent this from becoming a major scandal. But here it is. It's still a scandal. It's a scandal now after the fact. And the thing that makes this so... first of all, before I go to the next point, I'll just say this, man. Nobody in their right mind believes that this lawyer just was so generous. He just gave up $130,000 without any contact with the Trump administration, without letting them know that he's paying this woman this money. And that he's just giving this out of the goodness of his heart. Nobody in their right mind will believe that BS. Nobody. I mean, it doesn't pass any kind of smell test. It doesn't pass any kind of common sense test. Clearly, this man probably gave that money as an in-kind donation to the Trump administration, as alleged by Common Cause. He probably gave it to him as an in-kind donation to the Trump campaign in exchange for something else. That's the only way that kind of stuff makes sense. And, this next point is this. You have these evangelicals, these Christians, these self-righteous people. They want to preach to people about family values. They want to preach to people about living a righteous lifestyle and Christian values and this and that. But these people, these fakers, have no problem supporting a scumbag like Donald Trump. A man that is on record talking about sexually assaulting women. A man that's accused of sexually assaulting women. A man that is accused of having multiple affairs. A man that is accused of having an affair with a damn porn star. But this is the man that these Christians support. And I have to do air quotes for that, Christian support. This is the man that these black Negro coon pastors support. It's like they turn a blind eye to all of that, to all that wickedness. They turn a blind eye to the racism of this man. Despite the fact that, Christians supposedly believe in the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and this idea of compassion and love for humanity, but yet they support a man who has no compassion. They support a man who has no love for humanity. A man who calls an entire continent a shithole. A man who calls Haiti a shithole. A man who makes all kinds of racist statements about people, making racist statements about Mexicans and racist statements about other groups of people. But these so-called Christians have no problem supporting this man. And that speaks to how bankrupt they are morally. It speaks to how these politicians and these fake Christians are basically in bed and they're all about power. Power is more important than their supposed values. And it's sickening. And, the last point that I'll mention is this. Omarosa, as people know, she's on that Big Brother show, and she's been making comments about the Trump administration. And one of the comments that she made was this. She was talking about Pence, the vice president. And she was saying that he is worse than Donald Trump. You know, she said that if he gains power, people will miss Donald Trump. You know, they'll look at Donald Trump as being good compared to this guy Pence. And she talked about how this guy, you know, basically says that Jesus talks to him and stuff like that. I mean, another one of these crazy religious fanatics. I mean, it's just a shame, man. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that Pence would probably be worse than Donald Trump. Worse than Donald Trump just in terms of his politics, you know, far-right politics. You know, another one of these religious hypocrites, man. Talking about Jesus talks to him, but yet he's supporting a scumbag like Donald Trump, man. But anyway, man, I just had to get this off my chest, man. You know, these different issues that are going on. Tell me what y'all think. You know, I can't wait to the day when Trump leaves the White House. So tell me what y'all think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.